I finally have a space where my bed's not behind me, so I'm really glad to show it off before because I just didn't want people to see like sometimes if my bed wasn't fixed, so I would just be like, yeah, let's just blur the background, or maybe I'll just do like your style where I just like flip the camera or have the camera pointing like up so the ceiling only shows.
It's so bad.
Roman could be in the bathroom for all we know, guys. We won't tell you.
Gainz Nation, I'm pooping.
Yeah. So speaking of like sitting, like, cause you know how I usually stand for the podcast and whatnot. Kobe since Kobe's back with us, he likes to sit in my like office chair, and sometimes like he's just like so cute and like sleeping and like peaceful, where I don't want to like bother him and like move him. So like I have to like, well, and also it's a good thing because like I have a sit stand desk still, so like it's like good for me to like actually like stand up and like work. But see, the thing is like the first like 2 hours of work, I pretty much stand up. I like to like start the day standing up. It helps me wake up, get my coffee. Yeah. And then it's just a weird routine I have working from home. I always like to stand up to start the day. It helps me because like I've been sleeping all day. Like I just want to be like up. I want to like be out and about. Like I'm making coffee, I'm getting my caffee. And then like, and like during the afternoon, like all of a sudden, like we get back from like a walk and Kobe's just sleeping there. Oh, by the way, guys, Kobe's my cat. If you know me, you probably already know that. If not, if you're a first time listener, he's my cat, by the way. I'm not talking about Kobe Bryant himself. And he wouldn't get off the chair today, so like it pushed me to like almost like 4 or 5 hours standing up working, and like man, like as you guys heard in the last podcast, like I'm back finally in the gym, and like I was deadlifting 315 for the first time in like 9-10 months, and like I just wanted to sit down and just be like a fat lard today, and he's like nope, he's like he must have knew, he's like I'm gonna put my dad through hell.
He's testing you. That's awesome.
Speaking of coffee, look at that. It's like it's like perfect non-sponsored cup of coffee. It's all white. You can't even tell what I'm drinking.
I'm trying to reduce my caffeine intake because
yeah, buddy, why do your eyes look so heavy? You didn't get a good night's sleep, or did you have a little?
It should be fine, right? It's fine to me. Hard to say. But yeah, usually it'll like make me like super anxious. I think it's been affecting my sleep a little bit because my family, like my mother will get home around like 2 or 2:30, and I'm staying with family for the holidays, and she likes to enjoy like a cup of coffee or two, or a whole like
pot.
Yeah, a whole pot. So I'll usually have a cup with her when she gets home, and she'll like come in and like chat about her day as I'm like working or whatever, and I just found that I was having like more and more and more caffeine, so it was like affecting my sleep, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stop, and then like you get the headaches when you're like not having it like multiple times throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to decrease my my overall intake of coffee, because that's like my main, not only, but my main source of caffeine, because sometimes I'll have a caffeinated tea, but I'll usually only have like one, and I'll just switch to decaf, which is like 99% like caffeine free, so it's like half a milligram or like a milligram of caffeine, so I was like, it's not really anything.
Yeah, I'm really hoping, because my parents are like that too. Well, we'll have dinner, like when we used to drive over there and have dinner with them for like once a week or twice a week, whatever it was. Like right after dinner, sometimes it'd be like 6:30, 7, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you guys want to make like some coffee or something?" I'm like, no, I like as much as I love coffee, I don't want to get to that age where I'm drinking coffee at like 7 p.m. and then going to bed at like 9. Like that just seems dangerous.
Yeah, that's like what my mother does. It like does not have an effect on her.
That's so crazy.
She must have just built up an immunity over the years, or she just like drinks, like she's so habituated to it. I think that's the word. That like, it's like this is just what I do, But it keeps her out of trouble. So there's worse things she could be doing.
Yeah, like ever since like the pandemic and like working from home and like working out at home, like when we were working out in the basement, like I hardly like drink. I only drink like one cup of coffee in the morning, and like
Yeah, nice.
I wouldn't even take pre-workout because not to say like the workouts weren't like in as intense, but like I wasn't picking up weight like I was like going to the gym. So like there was no point for me to like I don't know. It's just like we've had Roman and I've had multiple conversations like when we're back in the office like I'd get home sometimes at like 5:30 6 p.m. and like do a scoop or two of pre-workout and then go lift and then try to eat dinner, take a shower and then like wind down for bedtime pretty much. And like I think that's also what drains a lot of people working out because you're like just
Yeah.
you're in the motion. And when Roman and I were in the office, like Roman can attest, like I would sometimes have like 2 or 3 cups of coffee before I would go home and then have pre-workout because we had the
Yeah.
luxury of like people buying us coffee all the time. You know, our other coworker, a good friend of ours, and I would walk and get. We had a free nitro cold brew machine on one of the floors we worked on. So like it was like water, like your mom. It was like something we did all the time. And then like sometimes I'd be on the train going home because I would commute back home and I would just like almost like fall asleep on the train because like it's probably because I had so much caffeine during the day. Like my body's like, all right, buddy, you just put yourself through overdrive. We're gonna shut down for the next 14 hours.
Yeah. And like we do have to be like, we take our, we take breaks and stuff like that, but like you do have to be like on the phone, like you have to be like on it. Like it is like a fast-paced role, I'd say. Just like in general. So,
Yeah, our
yeah.
job is it's like you got to be on point. Sometimes, dude, like I'll be like, yeah, sorry, I'm not like paying attention or sorry, I'm not really like versed upon this like knowledge and whatnot. So it's always fun. But
Yeah.
that keys us this conversation, this first like 5 6 minutes keys us into the main conversation. Look, I'm not even distracted, Roman. I see you smiling over there. It doesn't faze me, bro. It's like that's life. But
Doing
yeah,
tricks today.
it keys us to our intro, and what we're talking about today is episode 58. Roman, what are we talking about? I mean, this is a good background to like what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about some like New Year's resolutions when it comes to like our fitness, working out. We're gonna be talking about our progress this year. Uh, did Roman get up to 185 pounds? No, it did not. Not even freaking close. So we're gonna be talking about how the year went and what we're looking to do in the year ahead.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice. And when we were talking about this, like Roman and I, before like this episode started, it was really nice to be able to kind of recollect ourselves because not only like I mean we had an episode like this last year. Not only it's good for like us, it's good for like the listeners to kind of just take a step back, see what we did throughout the year. Obviously a lot was not done this year because of everything going on in the world, but that shouldn't stop. That shouldn't stop who you are and what you're going to be doing for the whole next year. Because as you set goals for your career, you want to set goals for your personal life. You want to set goals for your fitness and everything around it. So it's pretty important. And I think what Roman and I are going to share today is actually going to be pretty good for a start for you guys. And everybody listening, and it'll help get that conversation going because the holidays are coming up, and whatever you celebrate, and then a new year is coming up, so it's going to be a busy time. So maybe take when this episode released, maybe take this weekend, or the whole week before, if you're celebrating Christmas, or if you're currently celebrating Hanukkah, like maybe take that time and take a step back and kind of focus on yourself and get those goals either written down, jotted down on your phone, or things like that. So Roman, let's start us off with you, buddy. I know you kind of jokingly said you didn't make it to 185, but maybe talk us through some of the things that you kind of want to start looking forward to. Like maybe that caffeine consumption is one of them. Like the weight thing. What do we got going on for you, buddy? I don't want to talk too much.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just do a quick recap of the year. Why I pretty much abandoned massing. for like a little bit of maintenance, and then decided to like go into like a little cut before I maintained for a little bit and then started massing back up. So I think I started the year around like 164, 165 pounds at this, like in January of 2020, and the goal was I planned out some massing phases, like little mini cut, mass, little mini cut, and then a mass like throughout the rest of the year. And I was like, oh yeah, that'll be perfect. I'll get right up to 185 pounds. Like I'm really interested to see what my physique looks like at that weight. Like I knew I'd be like pretty fluffy. So I ended up massing up to 171 pounds in sometime in April, which it was actually going slower than I wanted at first. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to actually like start adding in like some volume or just like start adding in some more like food. And I think this is like just going off the top of my head because I don't have my journal with me, but I think I ended up doing a little bit of both, which is very much me, as opposed to just testing at one variable. I tested it on both. And I like got back on track for what I was like looking for. But I was like growing like increasingly like dissatisfied with how things were like coming along. I was like, I'm kind of just fat now. I don't even look like I lift. So I was like, I'll just keep going. I got up to like 171 pounds sometime in April, and I was like, it's just kind of like disgusting. I have like a gut now. I was like, I don't think this is healthy. Like, I don't necessarily feel healthy. Like, I'd be like out of breath tying my shoes, like a fat powerlifter type situation. And you know,
you had to get one of those shoe horns for your shoes because you didn't want to get down.
I'd have to like pick my leg up and like put it on like the windowsill to tie my shoes when I was leaving.
Okay.
But it was the biggest I've ever been. So I was like, this is pretty cool. I've proven to myself that I can like add muscle mass, and like I was crazy strong. I was gonna hit like 300 for a triple, and that like probably would have been like fairly easy. So I guess like my max would have been like around 350 on squat. I wasn't like deadlifting all that much, but I probably could have still hit like 345. And then I hit 225 by 5 on bench, which was like an insane lifetime PR. So I was like, frick, I'm getting strong. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't really happy with like the physique. So I decided to just maintain for like a month or two. I was doing like the workouts from home due to COVID. And I put up a couple of YouTube videos, and we were just like doing the Gainz podcast and stuff like that. And we were like coming into the summer, and I was like, I kind of want to see like what I've done. Like I'm not gonna do like a lot, but I'll do like a short dieting phase which I think ended up being like 2.5, 3 months. So I cut down to 151 pounds, and I wouldn't say I was like shredded or anything like that. Like if I was like going into a bodybuilding competition, I might have still been like 8 or 12 plus weeks out. But I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like I can like see my abs again, and like I like the definition. Like I put on some good muscle like in my chest and stuff like that. So I maintained, I think, for the month of like October, and then November and December I started gaining again. I like quickly built back up to like 160, like over the course of like a month and a half. So I think I was eating too many sweets. So I think my high was 161.8, but I was probably like, bloated and whatnot. It like started to come back down, and then since I've been home for Thanksgiving in Massachusetts, my family mostly eats like vegetarian, so I pretty much have like just like adhered to their diet and kind of sprinkled in like substitutes every once in a while. I'm hovering around like 157, 158, so that's like right on target for where I wanted to be for massing. Strength wise, I've lost a decent amount of strength. I bet you if I gave myself like 8 to 12 week cycle, I could bring my deadlifts back to where they were. Squats are pretty close, although I can only load up 217.2 pounds on the bar here. And it's just like all these cement weights, and it like literally goes to the end. I'll have to like have a close up video that I post on like the Gainz podcast Instagram. So I just like rep that out. Like I'll just like sets of 10 for squats. And then bench is starting to come back. I hit the 217.2 for a triple the other day. But it's definitely not where it was last year. But I was like also around like 168 pounds at that time. I went back and I took a look at it. So I'm about 10 pounds below where like my high lifts were. And I'm like just sub some of like the big lifts. Goals ahead. I'm gonna be massing through the start of 21. Hopefully getting stronger. I have that trap bar deadlift goal, which I'll do my best to record my progress. Talk about like my programming strategies around that. So I think I said 315 for a triple on that after a 12-week cycle. Or not cycle, but program.
A cycle?
What?
Hey, now.
Roman? And my bench goal for this year was definitely overstated. So I'll try to see if I can get to 250 by the end of that those 12 weeks. And I'll be very dedicated and in the gym. I don't think I have any like big vacation plans. Might do like some small vacations in that time frame, just with family. And squat, let's see, I think I can hit 350 by the end of March. And I'll just keep it there. I'll probably mass up through that point. I'll probably mass up to the summer. I want to get to about that 171 pounds again and see like how things shape up. And I might maintain for just a little bit and then like keep massing up to 175. I don't think I'll go much above that before I maintain or do like a little mini cut. But that's pretty much my goals for now. I do need to sit down, like Antoine said, and like write it out. Give myself at least a loose plan to go off of. That way, if I deviate, I'll make those deviations based off of like the available information to me, like how my mass is going on, how like my strength is coming along, my like just making sure I'm like staying uninjured, that kind of thing. Yeah. I've rambled on enough. Yeah. What are you? What did your year look like, Antoine? And then what are you planning for the year ahead?
Yeah, that's that. No, first off, I just want to comment. That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad that you, I feel like you kind of you pretty much stayed healthy like all year round, which was really nice. And plus, like you didn't really have a lot of equipment too, when you were just working on it at the apartment. So it was a little bit harder for you to kind of maintain a lot of the things. So I feel like, kind of you and I both like, we're going to use most of 2021 to get back and surpass hopefully like some of the main lifts that we have in mind. So yeah, I mean like a quick overview of this year, like I mentioned in the last like episode, like this whole January through March thing, I was like battling like a low back issue / like what was it, my left shoulder. I don't know. It was like in the back of my shoulder / like almost in my like my back area. So like a lot of like the press movements were like really behind. Like I was overhead pressing like barely like 45 to 55 pounds. Like I wasn't really doing I the other day, like I did upright rows for the first time. And like when I first put down like the weight and reps, it was like 4 sets of like 10 to 12 with like 20 pounds. And I did it and I'm like, holy cow, this is easy. So like you could like, even when I didn't work out in an actual gym for 8 months, like I came back to the gym and like that number was like really flipping easy. So like some of the stuff throughout this year, like, not being able to go to the gym since March and then having to work out in a basement, we did have a lot of machines and I eventually got like a bench, but that was like probably like only like a month or two, like at the end, before I started going back to the gym. Like, a lot of the things like I do have to reset on, which isn't a problem because like yesterday I hit 315 on deadlifts for 5 reps. And it felt really well. I mean, I feel the low back pump today, and I was, I mentioned it earlier, like standing up was like a terrible idea, like all day working, but whatever, it's going to help, recover it a little bit faster instead of sitting down and not really like getting blood flow through it. But like a lot to that point, like a lot of things, like I was telling before I started about the overview was like, a lot of the things is I think we're going to be able to get, back to where we started or surpass it in 21 because of the fact that like, this year, like, I mean, maybe that was kind of a blessing for me. Maybe I just needed to reset a lot of things. Like I think I wasn't able to deadlift for like 3-4 months in because I didn't have even a barbell. So like it was really nice to just kind of reset, kind of just like refocus the motivation. Because even like someone like I was listening to the Brett Gibbs podcast with Iron Culture when he was on it, and he's like an all-American, like I think even international like powerlifting champion, and like he even mentions like he lost motivation like trying to be like one of the best powerlifters internationally. Like so I mean, and Roman and I are not even on that level. So sometimes like when you're a fitness fanatic, like even though you like love it to death and you keep doing it until like you pass on or whatever, it's just sometimes you just need to refocus it. So kind of felt like it was a blessing in disguise because like right now going back to the gym like right away, like this past like 2 weeks, like I feel nothing but healthy. Like, we went hiking and we did 9 miles on Saturday on an off day. So like, I feel like better than ever this whole year with weights. Cause I didn't mention that. I'll mention that real quickly is, I was hovering around like the 190s, the 195s, like all last year. And I think, and it was like between like, I'd say 188 to 195. And then like today, like I woke up at 203. So, my goal was, this year to end the year off at like the 200-pound mark. So I'm just over by like, 2-3 pounds. But like all of next year, like, I want to sit at like 205, maybe like 207 as like the, I don't want to really go over like 207, 208. So like, I still have like 5-6 pounds that I want to gain within the next year. So on top of that, this year with gaining that weight and drinking a lot of beer mostly, which I never did before, like I living with my parent-in-laws and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, it was an experience because I wasn't really a beer drinker, but I saw myself drinking a lot of Busch throughout every weekend. So with that weight gain, like Roman was saying, I did put on a bunch, kind of a bunch of fluff. The muscle was still there, but like with the basement workouts, it totally wasn't there 100%. So going back to the gym, like I feel like I'm losing kind of the fluff. Like I feel like I'm building back that muscle. And the overall goal for next year is to, I'm at 203 right now. So if I, stay within the next like, 6-7 pounds, then that's what I kind of want to, that's what I want to do, as well as build my lifts back up, as well as get my lifts back in within like the ranges they were before. Because before, like, I was repping like for the 400s in deadlifts. I was repping the mid to high 200s in squats. I was repping, the lower to middle 200s in bench. So I'm trying to get back to there at like a lesser weight, because when I was doing those numbers, I think I want to say I was like 215, 220. And then like, I did boost up to 235 one year, but like those numbers, I don't really count it too much because I was kind of on like the heavier / PHAT side. Like Roman was saying, like the sluggish side. So next year, I want to definitely, get back to those numbers, as well as be able to train fully in an actual like equipped gym. So that's which I'm doing right now, which is like a great way to end the year. And then I'll probably keep the full body workouts going for a little bit longer, because I want to keep that split going, because I really like it, and it really helps me concentrate on the different muscle groups throughout the days. Like, I did deadlifts yesterday, and then I went to tricep pushdowns. And for anyone who's done deadlifts at like 65 to 100% intensity percentage wise, like you don't want to hit legs right after. You don't want to hit lower back right after. Like if I do tricep pushdowns on a full body split, it's beautiful because like now I can concentrate and put my effort in another muscle group and get a good pump throughout the whole workout. So yeah, I want to do that. And I know we kind of teased it, but I kind of want to make it a serious note that maybe sometime in June when I'm back in Chicago, that's the only time I have planned so far to go back home, is maybe like Roman and I could do like a little meet. It doesn't mean to be like sponsor or anything big. I think Roman and I are just going to try to find something available. So if it is like a decent powerlifting meet, maybe we'll go there and get crushed. Whatever. It's for both of us. It's not for anyone else. It's not, and maybe we'll learn some things from those people if it's like a pretty big powerlifting meet. Who cares? But that's like one thing I want to do. Also like kind of a promise to the fans out there. I think Roman and I are going to definitely be a little bit more proactive when it comes to the Gainz podcast. We do have a lot of like powerful ideas and insight what we want in the future. So we're gonna definitely, that's the business side of Antoine coming out. Like we want to definitely get that stuff written down. We want to get some goals going for Gainz podcast and the Gainz Nation. So we have a better idea, stronger idea for our fans and our listeners and our watchers. So yeah, sorry, I'm rambling as well, but that was like the last thing I wanted to say, Roman, because we only have about like 3 minutes left. So what's your thoughts, Roman? What else do you got? Do you have any other questions or any insight you want to put in?
No, I like it, buddy. Yeah, we're pretty much doing this like for ourselves because we like talking about like fitness, but like I think we also want to put out like good information for our listeners. So if you do have a question, please let us know, because that'll help us give you direction. And if you have a question, that means that somebody else definitely has that question. There's a lot of ideas that I have that like I want to implement at some point, but I've been putting it off because I have other goals. But if people are like interested and we like get enough people that like say they're interested, then I will like absolutely like change or do some like different experiments. Like for example, I have some like speed experiments that I want to run, just like some different like protocols of like changing volume of like sprinting routines to like measure at like where my speed is now, and then like what I can like get my speed up to, and then like just share all that data with you all. So that's been something that like I've been planning actually for quite a while, but I've put it off for a while because I didn't want it to interfere with like some of the strength and like the hypertrophy work that I've been doing. But if that's something, if you say like, yeah, I'm like really interested in that, to see like what like strategies are most effective so that I can like do better on my pickup basketball team. Like honestly, something like that would get me like amped enough where I'd build it in so that I could like get that data and then share that out with you all. I just think that would be really cool. Like I wouldn't do it because like somebody said like do it. I would do it because I want to do it. But if there was like enough like people that found that like information valuable, then it would be a good motivating like factor for me to be like, yeah, cool, all right, nice, I'm gonna actually do this now.
Yeah, and the same with the programmings, like like I honestly, I've been thinking about it, like I'm not a big fan of the show, like always share like what I'm doing exactly. Maybe I need to get out of that mindset, but it's like some part of me does want to just like throw like the program I'm doing right now as like an example. I won't even probably put like sets or reps, but like maybe I could put like something like a Google Doc, kind of like what we did with our first program, our first and only program. Like maybe put like a full body like split 5 days a week. So if like anyone wants to like run the program with me, they can go ahead. And what I would suggest is like, hey, maybe like change up the rep schemes or the set schemes, like, or I could just put mine down and just like, like, hey, if you want to do it, see how you feel, and just kind of, edit it your way. Because like something like that is like pretty interesting, because like when I started doing full body, like Roman and I took like a week, 2 weeks to like put it together. So it was actually a lot of process and like a lot of like idea thinking, and like it was very like thought out of. And like that's why I wanted to continue to run it in an actual being in a gym, because I thought it was important, and I thought I can get some serious progression from it. So
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I did dabble. It wasn't too long, but I did dabble a little bit in like full body training. I wouldn't even like have considered it. But when I'm like diligent about writing out my program, I'll put down like each body part, and like I'll give like ticks to how much like volume I'm giving like each week, and I'll just like build in progressive overload that way. It's just like a helpful visual for me. And maybe I should just do a video like on YouTube where I like describe my like my mental process when I'm going through those steps. But that might be something that we'll have to bring to our listeners, because full body, like I love the way that somebody like Jeff Nipper plans it out, but there's so many different ways you can plan it out. You could just be like hamstrings and chest one day, like that could be your full body day. As long as like you're hitting your other like volume landmarks on the other days. So it's just so intriguing the way that you can set it up, because you can do like so many different things, like small body parts, like one workout, large body parts, like another workout, where it's like quads, hamstrings, like lats, and I don't know, chest or something like that. Like honestly, like there's so many different options, and there's so many different ways that you can do it. That might be like something that's like extremely valuable to our listeners. So you're gonna have to let us know in the comment section, folks. Let us know.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Well, anyways, guys, that's a little bit about what we're gonna be talking about and doing next year, guys. It's going to be awesome. I'm always excited for the new year, and excited to see what we can, progress on, what we can get achieved, and everything going. So if you guys like the video, please like it, comment, subscribe, go to Roman's YouTube channel, subscribe to that when he's going to be putting more videos out next year. Follow us on Instagram, DM us on Instagram, whatever you need to do to reach us, message us, or email us, whatever you want to do. And then we'll see you guys on that next one. Peace.